the discovery that changed everything, Commander Elena Vasquez stared through the reinforced viewport of the mining vessel Breakthrough, watching the asteroid field slowly drift past. The Kepler belt had been her home for the past 3 years, leading deep space mining operations for the Terran Colonial Authority. At 35, she had spent more time in space than most people spent in their careers, but today something felt different. "Commander," called out Lieutenant Torres from the sensor station, "we're detecting unusual energy signatures from Sector 7. They're not matching any known mineral compositions." Elena moved to the central command console, her boots clicking against the metal deck plating. The Breakthrough was a sturdy vessel, built for function rather than beauty. Its hull was scarred from countless asteroid impacts, and its systems hummed with the reliable efficiency of machines that had seen decades of service. "Show me," she ordered. The main display lit up with a 3-dimensional map of the surrounding asteroid field. Several large rocks showed the familiar blue glow of valuable ore deposits, but there was something else. Deep within the largest asteroid, a pulsing red signature indicated an energy source, unlike anything in their databases. "Could be a new type of power cell," suggested Dr. Marcus Webb, the expedition's chief scientist. He was a thin man with graying hair who had devoted his life to studying the mysteries of deep space. "Some of the older colonies used experimental energy sources that we've lost the knowledge to create." Elena studied the readings more carefully. The energy signature was stable, showing no signs of decay that would be expected from technology that had been abandoned for decades. More puzzling still, the pattern seemed almost organic in nature, as if it were alive. "Torres, take us closer," she commanded, "but keep our distance. If this is some kind of weapon, I don't want to trigger it accidentally." The Breakthrough moved through the asteroid field with practiced ease. Elena had navigated these rocky passages hundreds of times, but her crew remained alert. Space was unforgiving, and even a small mistake could prove fatal. As they approached the anomaly, the energy readings grew stronger. The asteroid itself was massive, easily the size of a small moon, but the energy source was located deep within its core. Whatever it was, it had been placed there deliberately. "Commander," Torres called out, his voice tight with excitement, "I'm detecting metal structures within the asteroid. They're not natural formations. Someone built something in there." Elena felt her heart rate increase. Discovering ancient technology was every spacer's dream, but it was also dangerous. The galaxy was filled with the ruins of civilizations that had destroyed themselves with their own creations. "Dr. Webb, what's your assessment?" The scientist was studying his instruments with intense concentration. "The construction appears to be incredibly advanced. The materials are unlike anything we've encountered. And Elena, the energy signature is getting stronger. Whatever's in there, it's responding to our presence." Before Elena could respond, the main display flickered and went black. For a moment, the bridge was silent except for the hum of life. "Support systems." Then, slowly, text began to appear on the screen. But it wasn't in any alien language they had encountered before. It was in English. "Human vessels detected. Awakening protocols initiated. Welcome home." The bridge erupted in confused chatter. Elena held up her hand for silence, staring at the impossible message. How could there be human technology in this remote asteroid field? The Terran Colonial Authority had detailed records of every human expedition, and none had ever reached this sector. "Commander," Torres whispered, "there's something else. The asteroid is moving. It's changing course to intercept us." Elena watched in amazement as the massive rock began to shift. What she had taken for natural crayering and surface irregularities was actually an intricate pattern of hull plating. The asteroid wasn't hiding ancient technology. It was ancient technology disguised to look like a natural formation. All hands to battle stations, she ordered, though she wondered what good their mining lasers would do against something that... Sighs. Dr. Webb tried to establish communication with whatever's controlling that thing. The scientist's fingers flew over his console. I'm detecting multiple communication channels opening. Elena, this isn't just one ship. There are dozens of them throughout the asteroid field. They were all dormant, but now they're waking up. The main display flickered back to life, showing a figure that made Elena's breath catch in her throat. It was clearly human, but unlike any human she had ever seen. Tall and proud, with silver hair and eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages, the figure wore clothing that was both elegant and functional. I am Prometheus, the figure said, its voice carrying the weight of centuries. Guardian of the eternal fleet and keeper of humanity's true heritage. You have awakened us at a time of great need, children of Earth. Elena found her voice. I'm Commander Elena Vasquez of the Terran Colonial Authority. Who are you? How long have you been here? Prometheus smiled, and there was both sadness and hope in that expression. I am the last memory of what humanity once was, before the Great Forgetting. We have slept for over 10,000 years, waiting for the time when our descendants would be ready to learn the truth. What truth? Elena demanded. The display changed, showing images that defied everything Elena thought she knew about human history. Vast cities that spanned entire continents, fleets of ships that could cross the galaxy in days, and humans working alongside alien species in perfect harmony. Long ago, humanity was not the struggling colonial power you know today, Prometheus explained. We were the founders of the first galactic civilization. We guided younger species to the stars, shared our knowledge freely, and built an empire. That stretched across half the galaxy. We called it the Terran hegemony. Dr. Webb leaned forward, his scientific skepticism warring with the evidence before his eyes. That's impossible. Our archaeological records show that human civilization is only 12,000 years old. We've never found evidence of any earlier spacefaring culture. Because we made sure you wouldn't, Prometheus replied. When the great threat came, we chose to sacrifice everything to protect not just humanity, but all life in the galaxy. We erased ourselves from history, scattered our people across countless worlds, and went into hiding. But we left guardians behind, waiting for the day when we would be needed again. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. What great threat? Before Prometheus could answer, Torres called out urgently. Commander, we're being hailed by multiple alien vessels. It looks like a Krillian battle group, and they don't sound friendly. Elena turned to the communication console. The Krillians were one of the most powerful species in the current galactic order, known for their military strength and their dismissive attitude toward younger civilizations like humanity. Admiral Kresh's reptilian features filled the screen, his yellow eyes burning with anger. Human vessel, you will withdraw immediately from this sector. You are trespassing in territory claimed by the Krillian Empire. Admiral, Elena replied calmly, we're conducting a legitimate mining operation in unclaimed space. We have the proper permits from the Galactic Commerce Authority. Kresh's tongue flicked out, a sign of extreme agitation among his species. Your permits are worthless. This sector now falls under Krillian protection. You have 10 minutes to leave, or we will consider you hostile. Elena looked at Prometheus, who had been listening to the exchange with growing concern. Guardian, we need to go. We can't fight a Krillian battle group with a mining ship. No, Prometheus said firmly. The time for hiding is over. The ancient enemy stirs once again, and the galaxy will need every advantage to survive. It is time for the children of Earth to remember who they truly are. The display showed the Krillian fleet approaching, their weapons powered and ready. Elena counted at least 12 warships, each one capable of destroying her vessel with a single shot. But as she watched, something impossible happened. The disguised asteroids throughout the field began to transform. Hull plating slid back to reveal weapon emplacements that dwarfed anything in the current galactic arsenal. Ships that had slept for millennia came to life, their hulls gleaming with energy that bent light itself. "The Eternal Fleet awakens," Prometheus announced, "and with it, the true power of humanity." Elena watched in awe as the ancient ships moved with impossible grace, their technology so advanced that it seemed like magic. The lead vessel, a massive dreadnought that Prometheus identified as the Eternal Defiance, took position between the Breakthrough and the approaching Krillian fleet. Krillian vessels. Prometheus's voice echoed across all communication channels. "You are ordered to withdraw from this sector immediately. You are in the presence of the Terran hegemony, and we will not tolerate aggression against our people." Admiral Crush's response was immediate and predictable. "Fire on the human vessels. Destroy them all." The Krillian fleet opened fire with everything they had. Plasma cannons, quantum torpedoes, and molecular disruptors all struck the Eternal Defiance simultaneously. The ancient ship's shields flared to life, absorbing the attack without even a tremor. Then the Eternal Defiance returned fire. A single beam of silver light lanced out from the dreadnought's main, ***. The Galaxy Trumbull's Anna stepped onto the bridge of the Eternal Defiance and felt her breath catch in her throat. The ancient vessel was like nothing she had ever seen. The walls seemed to pulse with living light, and the air itself felt charged with power. Control surfaces responded to thought as much as touch, and the ship's systems hummed with an energy that made her skin tingle. "Welcome aboard humanity's first dreadnought," Prometheus said, his holographic form materializing beside her. She was built in the shipyards of Mars over 12,000 years ago, when humanity first reached for the stars with purpose and determination. Dr. Webb was studying the ship's architecture with fascination. "The technology is incredible. I'm detecting power systems that shouldn't be possible according to our understanding of physics. How did ancient humans develop such advanced capabilities?" Prometheus smiled sadly. "Because we had to. The galaxy was a dangerous place when humanity first left Earth. We learned to adapt, to grow, to become something greater than we had ever imagined. But with great power came great responsibility, and eventually, great sacrifice." Elena moved to the captain's chair, feeling a strange sense of familiarity as she sat down. The ship's systems seemed to recognize her, and displays lit up showing information that her mind somehow understood despite never having seen it before. "Commander," Torres' voice crackled through the communication system, "we're receiving reports from across the galaxy. Ancient human structures are activating on dozens of worlds. The Galactic Assembly has called an emergency session." Elena looked at Prometheus. "How many ships are out there?" "Thousands," the AI Guardian replied. "Hidden in asteroid fields, buried beneath the surfaces of dead worlds, disguised as natural formations. Each one waiting for the awakening signal that your presence triggered. The Terran hegemony built them to last, and to remain hidden until humanity was ready to reclaim its heritage." The main display showed a galactic map with points of light appearing across hundreds of star systems. Each light represented an ancient human vessel or installation coming online after millennia of dormancy. The scope was staggering. "The other species won't stand for this," Elena said. "The Krillians, the Vex Collective, the Ethereal Dominion. They've built their civilizations on the assumption that humanity is a minor player in galactic affairs. This changes everything." "It was always meant to," Prometheus replied. "The great forgetting was never intended to be permanent. We knew that one day the ancient enemy would return, and when it did, humanity would need to be ready to stand as the galaxy's protectors once again." Dr. Webb looked up from his analysis of the ship's systems. Prometheus, what exactly is this ancient enemy you keep referring to? What could be so dangerous that humanity would sacrifice its entire civilization? To hide from it? The AI Guardian's expression grew grave. They called themselves the Devourers, though they were not truly alive in any sense we understand. They came from the space between galaxies, consuming entire star systems and leaving nothing but empty void in their wake. They were drawn to advanced civilizations, feeding on the energy of life itself. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. And they're coming back? The quantum sensors embedded in our most distant monitoring stations detected their approach 3 months ago. Prometheus confirmed. They move slowly, but inexorably. At their current rate of advance, they will reach the outer rim of the galaxy within 5 years. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Elena had thought the awakening of ancient human technology was about reclaiming their place in the galaxy. Instead, it was about survival. How did humanity defeat them before? She asked. We didn't, Prometheus said simply. We couldn't. The Devourers adapted to every weapon, every strategy, every technological advantage we developed. In the end, we realized that the only way to protect the galaxy was to make ourselves invisible to them. The Great Forgetting wasn't just about erasing human history. It was about removing the energy signature that drew them to us in the first place. Elena stood up, her mind racing. But if we're revealing ourselves now, won't that just attract them again? Yes, Prometheus acknowledged. But this time, we have something we didn't have before. Time to prepare, and allies who understand the true nature of the threat. The younger species have grown strong in the millennia since the hegemony fell. With their help, we might be able to do what we could never do alone. The communication console chimed, and Torres' voice came through with urgent news. Commander, we're being hailed by a massive fleet. It looks like every major power in the galaxy has sent ships to this sector. They're demanding that we surrender. The ancient technology. Elena looked at the tactical display and saw hundreds of ships from dozens of different species converging on their position. The Krillian Empire, the Vex Collective, the Ethereal Dominion, and even smaller powers like the Rigelian Trade Federation had all sent their most powerful vessels. Put them through, she ordered. The display showed a council chamber filled with representatives from every major galactic power. Premier Zix of the Vex Collective, his crystalline form pulsing with calculated aggression, spoke first. Humans, you will immediately surrender all ancient technology to the Galactic Assembly for proper disposal. These weapons pose a threat to galactic stability and cannot be allowed to remain in the hands of a primitive species. Elena felt anger rising in her chest. Primitive? We built the foundation of galactic civilization while your species were still learning to use fire. Lies. Admiral Kresch's replacement, General Fax, hissed. The Krillian Empire has records going back 20,000 years. There is no mention of any human hegemony. Because we made sure there wouldn't be, Elena replied. But the evidence is awakening all across the galaxy. How long do you think you can deny the truth? High Counselor Vereen of the Ethereal Dominion, her energy form flickering with uncertainty, spoke next. Even if your claims are true, that was the distant past. The current galactic order has brought unprecedented peace and prosperity. We cannot allow one species to destabilize everything we have built. Elena looked at Prometheus, who nodded encouragingly. It was time to reveal the full truth. The only reason you've had peace and prosperity is because we've been protecting you, she said. For 10,000 years, the monitoring stations we left behind have been watching for the return of the Devourers. They're coming back, and when they arrive, every advanced civilization in the galaxy will be their target. The alien leaders exchanged glances, clearly struggling to process this information. Finally, Premier Zix spoke again. Assuming your claims are true, what do you propose? Elena took a deep breath. We propose an alliance. Not the kind where you dictate terms to us, but a true partnership. Humanity will share its ancient technology and knowledge, and in return, the galaxy will work together to prepare for the threat that's coming. The response was immediate and negative. General Thax laughed, a harsh sound that echoed through the chamber. You expect us to trust a species that has been hiding in line for millennia? The Krillian Empire will never submit to human authority. Neither will the Vex Collective, Premier Zix added. We have analyzed the situation and concluded that the human threat is more immediate than any hypothetical enemy from beyond the galaxy. Elena felt her heart sink. She had hoped that the truth would be enough to unite the galaxy against the coming threat. Instead, it seemed to be driving them further apart. Very well, she said, but understand this. We will not surrender our technology, and we will not allow you to destroy it. If you choose to see us as enemies, then you will face the full power of the Terran hegemony. The alien fleet opened fire simultaneously. Thousands of weapons struck the Eternal Defiance and the other ancient ships, lighting up space with devastating energy. Elena watched the tactical display, expecting to see their shields failing under the overwhelming assault. Instead, the ancient ships absorbed the attack without even a flicker. Then they returned fire. The weapons of the Terran hegemony were unlike anything the galaxy had seen for 10,000 years. Beams of silver light that could penetrate any defense, missiles that phased through shields as if they weren't there, and energy fields that could disable entire fleets with a single pulse. Within minutes, half the alien fleet was destroyed or disabled. The rest fled in panic, their leaders finally understanding the true scope of what they faced. Commander, Dr. Webb said quietly, we just declared war on the entire galaxy. Elena nodded grimly. I know. But maybe that's what it takes to save. It, Prometheus materialized beside her, his expression troubled. The quantum sensors are detecting increased activity at the galactic rim. The Devourers are accelerating their approach. The display of power may have attracted their attention. How long do we have? Elena asked. 2 years, maybe 3 at most. Elena looked at the scattered remains of the alien fleet, then at the points of light on the galactic map representing awakening human technology. The galaxy was about to face its greatest test, and humanity stood alone against an enemy that had defeated them once before, but this time would be different. This time, they had allies who would learn to stand with them or fall without them. The ancient warships had awakened, and with them, the determination that had once built an empire spanning half the galaxy. All stations, prepare for full activation of the hegemony fleet, Elena ordered, and send a message to every human colony in the galaxy. Tell them it's time to come home. The galaxy trembled as humanity stepped out of the shadows, ready to face the darkness that approached from beyond the stars. The Devourers were coming, but they would find a galaxy united and defended by the species that had sacrificed everything to protect it. The real war was about to begin. Asterisk.